Hi, I'm Chris Taylor.
And I'm Scott Graham, and this is our first year level design assignment at the University of Bolton.
Our level is based around an old abandoned asylum. We chose this concept as there was a great opportunity to push our skills to the next level, but also have the chance to try out new skills and techniques along the way. We first started out by hand drawing concept designs on paper, whilst also thinking about what rooms will be in an asylum and where those rooms will be located.
These hand-drawn designs soon developed. However, early on it became apparent that our concept designs had a generic square layout, and by setting up blockages and interest points we were able to control where the player could go, while still adding that element of exploration.
One of the techniques we used to encourage the player to explore was through the use of emissive materials. This allowed us to mark interest points such as keys or objective points with an eye-catching glow capable of gaining the player's attention.
The colour palette used in the level was very important. This is something we took on board while designing the textures and materials. We used colourschemedesigner.com for a basic range of creams and light browns, and then various shades of these colours we used to create a diverse palette.
We chose this colour palette as we thought it was the best suited to our theme. By using these colours it allowed us to create a dark and lonely atmosphere and also create a look of desertion. All the materials used for the walls, floors and ceilings were custom made to allow us to have the utmost control over the complete look and feel of the level, some of which were made up from a diffuse, specular and normal map, whilst others have had multiple textures applied and crossed over one another for a unique look. This technique allowed us to bring out the best of the two textures in one material, but also to eliminate that look of tiling textures.
Through the use of material editing we have also been able to create some unique water effects. The still water effect was made from a custom material and later enhanced with flowing water from UVK. The flowing water material was also edited to take off some of the specular. We did this to make the water look a lot more realistic with the circumstance it was used in, as before it looked like too much water was flowing out.
We further enhanced the water feature by adding sound and particle effects. Two different effects were used to create a water flowing sound that sounded as realistic as possible, but we were also able to make it look as realistic as possible through the use of particle effects.
We originally had an issue with particle effects, where the water would flow across all floors of the level. By modifying their lifetime in Cascade, we were able to control how long the water lasted, thus changing how far the water could flow.
Sound and particle effects have also been used in other areas of the level, such as with the broken lift control box and the door animations. We added realistic effects to not only further immerse the player, but to also make a more enjoyable game to play.
Lighting was a very time-consuming part of the development process. It was decided that we would have two sets of lights, backup and main lights. These were made up from a mixture of spotlights and point lights. With a few lighting modifications, we created a very nice effect where shadows would be cast around the stacked meshes, whilst also creating the dark and lonely atmosphere we were going for.
We have tried to stay away from having almost pitch black areas in the level. We wanted a dark level, but we also wanted the player to be able to appreciate the hard work that has been put in. Very dark shadows were eliminated by using non-shadow lights. Alongside these, we have also used dominant directional lights to recreate the sun. This allows us to add some natural light into the building through the windows, and with light shafts enabled, we have obtained a good looking sunset effect.
Cinematics are a great way to keep the player informed about what is happening in the game. We have used this to show off the transition between the backup lights turning off and the main lights turning on. Cinematics are achieved through the use of cameras. These can be moved around the map to reveal points of interest such as routes to new destinations and hidden items.
Kismet is a big part of our level and has been used to create some of our in-game features such as animations, cinematics and sound effects. We have also been able to modify the way materials act with Kismet by making those glowing materials return to their normal state once used. This acts as a way of communicating with the player on a non-verbal level. For example, by making the transformer stop flashing once used, the player knows that this object is no longer of importance.
Kismet also adds flow to the level. It works on a flow basis that can be triggered in a number of ways. Once triggered, it will run through a sequence of commands until complete. We have used this many times as a way of cleaning up the level as the player progresses, by destroying triggers that are no longer needed. We have used several techniques to help maintain a tidy level, such as combining different parts of the Kismet to keep relating items together, and also using layers to group static meshes and lights.
In conclusion, we believe that our level looks quite good. The colour scheme is consistent, the lighting suits the Asylum very well, and we've also used some interesting effects. The size of the level was definitely a challenge given the time that we had, however we do think that had our time been managed better, we could have achieved so much more. We would have also liked to do a few things differently, such as the cinematics and also adding a few extra static meshes and decals to enhance the overall look and feel of the level. We have both learned a lot from this assignment, and all the problems we have overcome along the way will greatly improve our quality of work in the future, but even though we think the level is quite good, there is also definitely room for improvement.